down in the dumps, can't get out of the slump. And, it has to do with what happened with Charlie Kirk. And I think for anybody that witnessed that and, does this type of stuff and is into politics and listen to Charlie, I mean, I think this touched a lot of people, right? And I think what we've seen out there in the news media, it has. But I've been in a slump. I have not been myself. The energy's been low on the show. I took a few days off to kind of collect my thoughts, and that didn't work. And so I kind of sat back yesterday. I'm like, what do I need? I need some medicine. You know what I mean? And not medicine that masks me. I need medicine that fixes me. And let me tell you, I found it. And for many of those that know me, I love comedy. And so I didn't just go back and watch the new stuff. I watched the old stuff, baby. And I was laughing my you-know-what off last night. And it felt good, man. It felt really good. And it wasn't just me. I mean, me and my wife last night on the couch were hysterically laughing at some videos. So, where you're wheezing, that type of stuff, your eyes are watering, you're crying because you're laughing so hard. That brought me back. Now, I am still obviously upset with what happened with Charlie. It still bothers me, obviously, but that was the medicine I need. And so bringing that to all of you, find something that's going to help you cope with what's been going on, because it's not going to stop, you guys. I hope the shootings and the killings, all that stuff stops, but the craziness of the left and the lunatics that are out there, they're not going anywhere. It's not like they're going to be locked up. It's not like they're going to be pushed away. Nothing's going to happen to these people. You want to know how we know that? Because nothing has happened to them at all over the last, decade plus. So they're going to be roaming free like a bunch of lunatics, and you still need to live your life. With that being said, good morning, by the way. And yes, I am drinking a cup of coffee, and you can get that same exact mug that you saw me drinking out of at our sponsor, baldbrad.com, the Bald Brad store to be specific, where you can get a bunch of different goodies. You can get a t-shirt, which I wear. I wear this one up here for the men. You get the mug in different colors. You can get it in black, red, and gray. I have the white one. The white looks the best. Hoodies and women, ladies, we have a lot of women that watch the show, by the way. Our demographic is very unique. A lot of political channels don't hit a high level of women watching their show. We have that here. I don't know if I give off a feminine tone or what the hell is going on, but we have a pretty good spread of women, no pun intended. You get yourself some t-shirts here. I told you I'm back. And, get yourself some merchandise. It always helps support the show. And we also have a book, Trojan Horse. On the left is Just Run America. If you click this link right here, it will take you to Amazon. And you can also pick it up online at Barnes & Noble. I've seen some copies still at a Walmart before, which I always think is fun and interesting. Alrighty, enough with the sponsorships. Rolling into the news, prosecutors are seeking death penalty for suspected Kirk killer. I watched the clip yesterday, and it was almost as if the dude was comatose. Like, it was almost as if he just could not give two bleeps that he was there, which is almost like a tell. It's almost as if, he did do it. Because if you were an innocent guy, you'd be like, deer in the headlights going, what's happening? What do you mean death penalty? My life is done. I mean, this guy just ended his life because he didn't like what somebody said. I mean, for me personally, that's really tough to wrap my head around. I mean, there's not very many things in this world that I would give up my life over. There's obviously some things, but not because I don't like the way somebody talks and I disagree with them, but that's the state in which we're in. 22-year-old Tyler Robinson appeared in a Utah court on Tuesday, where he was formally charged with 7 counts, including aggravated murder, felony charge of a firearm, witness tampering, and obstruction of justice. Utah County District Attorney Jeff Gray determined that Robinson targeted conservative activist Charlie Kirk for his political beliefs and announced that he would seek the death penalty. And I believe in Utah, they actually have the death penalty by firing squad as an option. So that's something that I think a lot of people are wanting this to take place. I've heard people want a little bit more than that. People want this dude to be hung in the town square, kind of like the old school days where you brought your family, brought your picnic blanket, and you put a nice little spread out on that little toast with a little bit of butter, and you watch the events unfold. Now that's not what I'm calling for. My heart when it's I've heard when it happened, I was definitely calling for something like that of whoever did this needs to be put up in the town square. But when you settle down, you let your emotions kind of not get the better of you. Whoever did this needs to be put up in the town square. I'm sure many of you might want this as well. I do not take this decision lightly, and it's a decision I've made independently as a county attorney based on solely on the available evidence and circumstances of the crime. So there's a lot of evidence out there. So a little bit of it says here, they released chilling text messages between Robinson and his trans-identifying boyfriend from the hours after the shooting. Let's take a little bit of a peek-see at what that looks like here. Now, some people were saying that, and I was watching this on Tim Pool, were saying that these messages seem to be doctored in some way, shape, or form, like transcribed, because this is not really how people talk through via text message. It's too like grammarly correct, not grammarly correct, but it's not how people talk via text message or just texting in general, just talking through Discord or whatever. So it says, after reading the note, the roommate responded, "What? You're joking, right?" So is there a note? Let's see. I don't know which one's the first one. Hold on. This one. Judging from today, I say grandpa's gun does just fine. I don't know. I think that was a $2,000 scope. Robinson deleted this exchange. My dad wants photos of the rifle. He says grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released a photo of the rifle and it is very unique. He's calling me right now, not answering. Whoa. Since Trump got into office, my dad has been pretty diehard MAGA. I'm going to turn myself in willingly. One of my neighbors here is a deputy for the sheriff. You are all I worry about, love. I'm much worried about you. Don't talk to the media, please. Don't talk to well, it sounds like the person is talking to them, isn't it? Or make any comments. If any police ask you questions, ask for a lawyer and stay silent. After reading the note, the roommate responded, "What? You're joking, right? I am still okay, my love. I am stuck in Orem for a little while." I don't know if Orem is that like, what is that? Maybe somebody can let me know in the chat. Is that like a place in Utah? I've been to Utah quite often, actually. I've never heard of that place. For a little while longer, yet shouldn't be long until I come home, but I got to grab my rifle still. To be honest, I hope to keep this secret till I died of old age. I am sorry to involve you. What? You thought that you would get away with this with all the cameras and shit that happen around? Like, what an idiot. I mean, you can already tell the guy's just dumb as rocks. And he got honor roll, by the way. See, people are going, "Oh, how did an honor roll student go from this to this?" Because school is fake. God, I've been shouting this to the skies for legitimately ever since I became an educator back in 2018. Like, I saw it immediately. Oh, this is all fake. Yeah, it's all fabricated. Oh, you got honor roll. Well, that's hard. You weren't the one who did it, right? I am. I'm sorry. Yeesh. I thought they caught the person. No, they grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering. So I saw a clip that he went back onto campus. Okay, so Orem is the town the college is in. Okay, gotcha. Thank you. So he says here, it's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering. Why did I do it? Yeah, I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can be negotiated out. If I am able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it. So it goes on a little bit longer. It doesn't seem like there's anything too crazy in here, but what an idiot. I mean, what an evil idiot. But just the guy, just the way the guy sounds, he just sounds actually stupid. But, you know, anybody gets into college nowadays, I suppose. So, alrighty, well, we have that. So we'll keep you updated on what's happening with that. I'm sure other people will keep you updated as well. Trump is suing the New York Times, if you didn't hear this news. President, for like a lot of money, by the way. A lot of cash. President Trump on Monday filed a listen carefully, $15 billion defamation and libel lawsuit against the New York Times. He has accused the newspaper of a years-long campaign to destroy his reputation and undermine his political success. Trump filed a suit, and check where he filed this at, in a U.S. district court in Florida. The complaint targets 4 of the Times' most prominent journalists, Susan Craig, Russ Buettner, Michael Schmidt, and Peter Baker. It also names Penguin Random House, which published a book based on the Times reporting. The Evidence, an investigative series and book titled Lucky Loser, How Donald Trump Squandered His Father's Fortune and Created the Illusion of Success, alleges that Trump committed tax fraud in inheriting his father's real estate empire and built his wealth on deceptive practices. That series was written by Craig and Buettner, and Random Penguin House released it just before the 2024 election. It's just, people are crazy. What I was thinking about this morning was, we know that there's always been a major mental health issue in this country. For example, Gen Z has 50% mental health issues. I mean, think about that. Meaning every 1 in 2 kids that you talk to that are Gen Z have a mental health issue. Now, what you are also seeing after what took place with Charlie Kirk is a exponential mental health issue in this country, because now they've gotten so comfortable, and we've said it before, these people, these leftists, have gotten so comfortable with calling out 8647, killing conservatives like you saw from Destiny. These people are so bold because nothing's happened to them ever. And I'm talking like jail time or spanking from their parents. Hell, I don't know. Nothing's happened to them. And so now they are so comfortable. Not only are they calling for the killing of conservatives or Republicans online, there are hit lists online, by the way, with names, but now they're actually doing it. And then they don't care. Like that dude yesterday, Tyler Robinson, during him receiving his, I don't know what the hell you call it, the charges, he, just no emotion whatsoever, no care in the world. It's the mental health in this country, and the lack of morality and the lack of people going to church has really screwed us big time, more so than I thought, me personally. When I saw the comments and where we're at now as a country, it is dark, man. And it ain't something you turn around overnight. This is multi-generational, folks, meaning a lot of us are going to see the same psychotic crap for the rest of our lives before anything changes. Well, President Trump has officially directed a crackdown on crime in Memphis, Tennessee, using a strategy similar to the one deployed in Washington, D.C. Trump signed a memo Monday that establishes the Memphis Safe Task Force, whose objective is to end street and crime violence and crime just in Memphis to the greatest possible extent. A lot of people have been calling for this. It's nice to get rid of the crime finally. I mean, he is the number 1 police officer in the world, or should I say United States, the president of the United States. Look at this. In 2024, Memphis had the highest crime rate, the highest property crime rate, and the 3rd highest murder rate of any city in the nation. Other than that, they're doing quite well. Thank you. A person is 4 times more likely to be murdered in Memphis, Tennessee today than in Mexico City. There were 249 murders, 429 rapes. Jeez, man. 5,616 burglaries, 12,522 violent assaults in just as little as a year. Wow. Man, that's, you kind of don't think about these numbers through your day to day, but it's crazy, man. Dude, almost 250 murders. Again, about 430 rapies. Man, this is what happens when the punishment is not enough, that people are still willing to commit crime. You want to know why? Because the punishment isn't enough. That's really what it comes down to. If there are harsh consequences, then you're at least, for most, are going to think twice about doing something. And people will say, well, we don't have space in prison, or, oh, well, they didn't know. Oh, come on, you're going to destroy the kid's life for him doing something. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Hence why I don't do anything, because I don't want to go to jail. I wouldn't do well in jail. I don't break any laws. I don't do anything illegal. I don't do any of that. Why? Because I don't like the consequences that are already there. But for some, they don't mind the consequences, which is why they will do it. We got to figure out something here as a country. Else, again, you're going to watch how the left will destroy this country. Not how they're destroying it, which is my book, but they will destroy it. And we're in a tough position. And I'll explain why we're in a tough position. This was kind of commented on Tim Pool, and it's something I've talked about in the past, where you have these hit lists that are coming out now with pretty prominent names. Tim Pool's one of them. Ben Shapiro's another one. And it's god awful. And under the First Amendment, these psychos, these lunatics, are basically saying that they're going to try and kill these people. They're not outright saying it in plain English, because at that point, that is not protected under the First Amendment. But when you put a bunch of phrases together, or you can read between the lines on what they're saying, that is what they're saying. And then when you go and talk to them about it, oh, that's not what I meant. For example, oh, hey, Tim Pool, can't wait to see you show up in Arizona, wink. Coming from a prominent leftist that has called for deleting people in the past. But then they'll write another one. Oh, can't wait to meet you here. Another wink. These aren't conservatives or Republicans. These are like hardcore people that have said some very, very nasty things about conservatives, Republicans, and Donald Trump and others on the internet. So it's not like you're just taking it out of context. It's when you start getting kind of an idea of who these people are and what they've been saying, and you're watching the thread of what they've been saying, you could piece it together, and nothing can be done. So much so that Tim Pool talked about on his podcast, and he said that he wasn't supposed to, but he's going to do it anyways, that he got invited to Charlie Kirk's memorial on Sunday. The problem is that the threats against conservatives are so high right now. It is so high that there is no security that Turning Point USA can offer that's going to keep Tim Pool safe. That's how insane the death threats are right now against conservatives. And you don't hear anybody really talking about that. I'm going to talk about it. Okay? Because if they're not going to talk about it, I will here on the show, because it is a massive problem. Tim Pool can't even go to his friend's memorial because there's hits out on his life. He can't go on a plane. He can't go on a car. He can't travel. And nothing's happening. And here's the problem. You might, well, let's just start going after these people for what they're saying. That's a slippery slope. And we've talked about that, right? We've talked about the idea of, well, if people are going to act out on their mental illnesses, let's lock up people with mental illnesses. The problem with that, again, with all of this is you don't want the government to decide what is considered hate speech, in air quotes, or what speech they like and what speech they don't, because then that's going to be weaponized against you. And this is the problem that we have in this country, is the left have been playing a strategy game, and they understand that, meaning they have weaponized the First Amendment. They have weaponized the First Amendment, and the Supreme Court has already heard cases like this in the past. So they are allowed to do it. I don't have an answer for you, by the way. I don't have an answer if this is how we fix it. You can't shame them. These people don't care about shame. They don't care about it. They don't even care about your life. They don't care about even giving up their lives. They think they did something amazing by killing you. That's what's wrong here. Their life's meaningless. It's almost like a terrorist, which is what a lot of people are calling them. Terrorist doesn't care about your life, doesn't care about 20 lives, doesn't care about anything, doesn't care about their own life. I mean, that is like the worst enemy, right? That is like the worst person that doesn't care about their life or other people's lives, and they'll just delete you for no reason. You'll be walking down the street, which just happened to a prominent conservative. I'm slipping on his name. He was literally just walking down the street. The guy walked up, put 2 bullets in his chest, and he's dead. By the way, that can happen to any of us. Any of us here in the chat. It's crazy. So there is no fixing it. We don't know. We don't have an answer here, because what you're gonna arrest somebody for saying, "Oh, can't wait till you come to Arizona, Tim. Can't wait to meet you in person." You might meet something else in your neck. Then the cops show up. Hey, well, what do you mean by that? Oh, well, there's a lot of mosquitoes in Arizona right now. Yeah, there's a huge swarm of mosquitoes. So I thought, he might have got bitten in the neck or something like that. I just want to be careful. I got bit actually a week ago in the neck. And yeah, I was actually going to follow up with a thread. I just couldn't get to it. I was going to give him talking about some mosquito ointment. Yeah, for his neck. This is the crap that they play. Oh, okay. Yeah. Gotcha. All right. What, are you going to arrest a guy for that? You can't. It's bad, you guys. We're in a very, very bad state in this country. Well, we watched a little bit of some Kash Patel yesterday. We're just going to watch a few things here. Nothing too crazy, but there's 3 quick clips that I want to show with Kash Patel kind of popping off with Cory Booker, Hirono, and then Adam Schiff. Again, these are going to be short clips here, but they were popping off with one another. And let's get it right here. Oh, come on, Elon. With the bull crap again. Hold on. Elon still can't. Starlink must be down again.
Bad and not.
Wow, this really doesn't want to work. Give me one moment.
Truly bad you are. You can't undermine the legacy of agents who fight every day to keep us safe, but you can tarnish the integrity of the agency and undermine the agency's capacity. I believe you're failing as a leader, and that your failure does have serious implications for the safety and security of Americans and our families. We're more vulnerable to domestic and foreign attack because of your failures of leadership. I don't think you're fit to hand the bureau, but here's the thing, Mr. Patel. I think you're not going to be around long. I think this might be your last oversight hearing. Because as much as you supplicate yourself to the will of Donald Trump and not the Constitution of the United States of America, Donald Trump has shown us in his first term and in this term, he is not loyal to people like you. He will cut you loose. This may be the last time I have a hearing with you because I don't think you're long for your job. But I'm going to tell you this. I pray for you. I pray for you that you can step up and defend your oath, defend the Constitution, and do a much better job of defending this country. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Do you
watch this?
Yes, sir. That rant of false information does not bring this country together. If you want to work on bringing this country, it's my time, not yours.
My God.
If you want to talk about
dividing this country,
it is my
I follow
time.
you on your social media posts that
It is
tear
my
this country
time
apart.
to
There
address
should be a
your
unifying-
falsehoods.
Oh,
You are an
you can
embarrassment
try all
to the
you
division
want
in this country.
to not
Senator,
take
it is
my
responsibility
time.
for what
You
you
had
have
your
said.
time.
Sir, you're
Your
making a
time is
mockery of this
over.
committee. Sir, you don't tell me my time is over.
You
The
know how
people
far
of New
we've
Jersey
come
tell me
since
what my
Utah?
time is.
Senator,
You can't lecture me.
You can tell me
Sir,
my time's
you
over?
You may be the charge of the
I'm not
FBI,
going anywhere.
but I am not afraid of you, sir.
Mr. Chairman,
Not afraid of you.
Mr. Chairman, point of order.
Senator Booker, I announced at the beginning of this meeting that this back and forth talking over each other doesn't work. And I said if that happened, I asked Patel not to respond, and I was going to give him some time after the senator's time was up to respond. And he has the privilege to do that.
So there was the theatrics with that one between Booker and Kash Patel. It doesn't end there. I mentioned at the beginning of the show that you need a little bit of comedy, and I have one here for you. We have Democrat Senator Mazie Hirono talking about FBI agents being able to do pull-ups. Okay, so watch this. What I need you to watch specifically, and you will pick up on it yourself, watch Kash Patel's face. It's only a minute clip, but watch his face and you'll pick up on it too. Here we go.
The question I had is that you are now requiring applicants to be able to do a certain kind of pull-ups, which a lot of women cannot because of physiological differences. Are you requiring these kinds of pull-ups?
Did you guys catch it? Oh, watch it again. There's a physical difference. I guess all of a sudden there's physical differences between men and women. All of a sudden with the Democrat Party, when it fits their narrative, all of a sudden there's a difference. But watch his face. He picks up on it too. He's like, what the F?
Differences. Are you requiring women cannot because of physiological differences? Are you requiring women cannot because of physiological differences? Are you?
Look at his face. He's like, what? Like, wait, what? It totally goes against what you guys have been pushing. God.
You requiring these kinds of pull-ups?
We are requiring a physical program at BFTC at Quantico because FBI agents carrying guns in the field have to chase down bad guys and do really hard work. The physical fitness standards of those agents
So
are
are
being
you requiring
appropriately
these
assessed.
kinds of pull-ups?
We are requiring everybody to pass the 1811 standards at BFTC. If you want to chase down a bad guy
Excuse me,
and put
the
him in
reason I
handcuffs, you
ask-
better be able to do a pull-up.
The reason I ask is that there are concerns about whether or not being able to do these kinds of harsh pull-ups is really required of FBI agents.
Doing
Anyway,
one pull-up
Mr.
is not
Patel,
harsh,
I
and there are
am
always
gravely
medical
concerned.
exemptions to that.
Remember, this is the party that wanted men running and storming the beaches of Normandy in skirts. You know what I mean? It's this party. No wonder nobody wanted to join the military under Democrat rule, under Joe Biden. No wonder nobody wanted to join the military because the standards were so low. God forbid you have to do a pull-up. Oh, it's so harsh. How could you do that? But this was the best. Just that facial expression right there. Like, what the hell? What? Notice at the beginning, she sounded a little drunk. Did you all pick up on that? Like she's slurring her words like this. She don't know what she's looking at here. Look how long it took her, almost 30 seconds to find the question. Look at this.
The question I had is,
It's like Corinne Jean-Pierre with her binder. Oh, where's my question? Oh, fuck. Oh, God, where the whiskey's too strong. Look at this.
that you are now requiring
You are not requiring, where's the question? We're now 10 seconds in.
applicants to be able to do a certain kind of pull-ups.
That's where we're at. They don't have anything. When you start questioning the FBI director about requiring some sort of physical standard for FBI agents, and you're going to question the dude about pull-ups, that's where issue is. You notice that there was no question about Joe Biden's pull-ups, and yeah, I'm talking about his diapers. No questions about that one. But if you ask the FBI agents to do actual pull-ups, that's unreasonable. Oh, you can't be doing that. Yeah, Joe Biden wore pull-ups. You're damn right. Some of you spit out your coffee over that one. You're welcome. Well, there was also an exchange with Adam Schiff. Let me get to that one really quick. That was kind of fun. Patel and Schiff. Now, I want to apologize to everybody here. Adam Schiff is from my home state, but here's the exchange between them two towards the end.
The American people to believe that? Do you think they're stupid?
No. I think the American people believe the truth, that I'm not in the weeds on the everyday movements of
you're not in
inmates.
the weeds?
What I am doing is
most-
protecting
the
this country,
most- the
providing
most
historic
significant
reform,
witness-
and
the most
combating the
significant witness,
weaponization of
the
intelligence
Epstein
by the
files
likes of you.
cover-up
And we have
gets
countlessly proven you to
from
be a
your
liar in
administration,
Russiagate, in
and you
January
call that
6th.
being
You are
in
the
the
biggest
weeds?
fraud to ever sit in the
This
United States
stinks to
Senate.
high
You are a
heaven.
disgrace to this
This stinks to high
institution
heaven.
and an utter coward.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised
not
that you continue to lie
surprised
from
that
your
the-
perch and put on a show
view
so you can go
of
raise
you
money
and
for your
for good
charade.
reason.
You are a political buffoon at best.
Well, you can take an internet troll.
Take
and
it
make-
to
you
the
can take
bank
an
that the
internet-
FBI is
you
protecting
can
this
make an
country
internet troll,
and the state and
the FBI
citizens of the
director
California.
will
We are
always
bringing
be nothing
historic
more than an
reform.
internet
Point of
troll.
order. But all you care about is a child sex predator that was prosecuted by a prior administration, and the Obama Justice Department and the Biden Justice Department did squat. And what did President Trump do? Bring new charges courageously. And what have we done?
Chairman,
You said
take
I'm the
control
most
of this
transparent
situation.
FBI director in history.
Take control of this
33,000 pages of information to you. I challenge you to say anything credibly to the truth. Go ahead and run to the cameras where you want to go now.
Both of you be quiet.
Hey, did anybody want to get up out of their seat like, kick his ass, Cash, kick his ass, right? Get a little bit hyped from it. He knew he got him. Patel was bobbing, weaving for a little bit, and he's like, gah, gah. Oh, Cash is a tiny guy, but the guy's a firecracker. Cash is a criminal. No, he's not. He's not criminal. Your name's Bing Bong. Come on. That's criminal. That username is criminal. Cash ain't no criminal. Cash is one of the best. Oh my God, that was great. So Adam Schiff somehow is still in Congress, somehow still being voted for. He is one of the most disgusting people out there. But that was the theatrics that took place yesterday. So the Democrat Party is not headed in the right direction, folks. That's why nobody is wanting to stay in that part. They're a shell of themselves. They don't even perform democratic ideas like we saw from not Thomas Jefferson, but Jeffersonian kind of thinking back in the day with the establishment of the Democrat Party. They don't do anything democratic anymore. I mean, even from nominating their own people, there's nothing democratic about it. I mean, Kamala Harris got put up with 0 votes. Nobody even wanted her, which is why they lost, by the way. I mean, but even if you put up Gavin Newsom, nobody wants to vote for that guy because he sucks too. But we've always said, this is kind of the rule of thumb here, if you're a part of the Democrat Party, if you suck at your job, and by the way, this has gone on for some time here, you will be elevated to the highest levels of office. All you have to do is just destroy something, and you will be nominated the next president of the United States under the Democrat Party. Well, look what happened to the state of California. Look what's going on with Delaware. Look how Joe Biden handled things. Look at how Barack Obama handled things. I mean, for some ungodly reason, you get elevated to the highest level of office. Tim Walz is another example over there in Minnesota. You got Kamala Harris over here in the state of California. Gavin Newsom's most likely going to run for president. Both destroyed the state of California. They keep wanting to go up. You look at Nancy Pelosi, destroyed the state of California. She was freaking the main person in the Democrat Party. I mean, the list goes on and on of these people. And, well, that's what happens. So that party is falling apart, and that's why nobody wants to be a part of them. And that's why they lost about 2 million registered voters just the other day. And we've gained about 2.4 million, 2.2. All righty. Well, some in other news that's not necessarily political, but something we want to be aware of is this day and age of AI. So we have this breaking news here that just got released about an hour ago. 86% of college students use AI for assignments amid faculty concerns. Now, this is a little bit misleading in the statistic, and we're going to kind of go in a little bit deeper here just really quick, because you can use AI for assignments to help you learn and understand things. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you're using AI to complete your assignments, to actually do the assignments, that is the problem. AI is used for learning and for teaching, not for doing. And that's something that was echoed by Sam Altman endlessly during their ChatGPT 5 release. So a 2025 survey by Inside Higher Ed finds that 86% of U.S. college students use AI tools for assignments like essay writing, research, and coding. Again, you want to be very careful with this because that does not mean that they're doing the whole assignment. It's just that they're using AI to help them complete an assignment or kind of to do research. Like for writing my book, my most recent one, is I'm using AI for research because it's so much quicker. Whereas for Trojan Horse, my other book, might as well, for this book here, it's kind of dusty, but for this book is I had to go and I purchased a bunch of books and did like old school flagging my book. So when I quoted something, I physically had to open up a book and look at the quote. So that takes a lot of time, where now, because when I wrote Trojan Horse, AI wasn't out yet, I could just research really quickly quotes and then verify them. So that's how I use it, and it's tremendously faster. With 54% doing so weekly to enhance productivity, faculty members voice concerns about rising plagiarism and weakened critical thinking skills, even as 93% intend to integrate AI into their curricula. Well, they can integrate it in the curriculum because AI is not going anywhere. You're kind of forced to do it. The issue is that students, we've already lowered the standards so much in the education system to where you have an inverse effect happening. So college used to be for high IQ individuals. It wasn't for basket weaving or lesbian dance theory. That's not what college was for. College was for like mathematicians, those that wanted to be professors, accountants, physicists, like these high IQ jobs. It wasn't for low IQ, like necessarily these liberal arts. It was in some way, shape, or form, but it was for high IQ individuals predominantly. Well, what has happened is the IQ has gone down for Americans for the first time in a century. But then how is it that graduation rates have gone up? You have an inverse effect happening. People are legitimately actually getting dumber. And then you have more people graduating college than ever before. You have this going on. That doesn't make sense. That should raise a little bit of alarm bells. You want to know why it's happening? Because it's all BS. It's all fake. And you're hearing this from an educator. I've said it time and time again. Your son or daughter may be getting A's and B's. Most likely not legit. If your kid in high school gets a C, just so you know, that could be anything from an actual legitimate C to most likely a D and F. If your kid gets any grade nowadays, always drop it one giant letter grade. I would say almost nobody's getting A's, realistically. So if you get an A, that's a B. If you got an actual B, that's probably a C. A C is literally anything from an F to a C. And I've seen it all. So take that for what it's worth, but I'm just telling you what I've seen. And I always have vocalized that to parents. It's all fake. If you want your kid to get a good education nowadays in high school, they need to take AP classes, because AP classes are basically the classes that we took as general classes when we were in high school, 20 years ago. So IQ has gone down for all Americans, or are we going by overall? Overall. I think that happened about 2 years ago. Their overall IQ for Americans has dropped. All righty, here we are. We got more news coming out from Marco Rubio, who will be speaking at the memorial for Charlie Kirk. Rubio promises to block visa of foreigners who cheer Charlie Kirk's death. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said that the Trump administration is revoking and denying visas for foreigners who celebrate the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Rubio made the announcement on Monday. He shared a clip on X of an interview he did with Fox News, in which he said the State Department has already begun revoking visas.
We are not in the business of inviting people to visit our country who are going to be involved in negative and destructive behavior. Okay, so why should, if we invite someone to visit the United States of America as a student, as a tourist, as whatever, then they have the standard they should be held to is very high. We shouldn't be bringing people into this country. We should not be giving visas to people who are going to come to the United States and do things like celebrate the murder, the execution, the assassination of a political figure. We should not. And if they're already here, we should be revoking their visa.
So the Secretary of State expanded his comments the next day while speaking to reporters. There's no shortage of idiots around the world that have decided it's a great idea to murder someone. We don't want people like that in our country. Well, you allowed the Democrat Party, meaning allowed a lot of people like that in our country. By the way, it's bad that we have people that are U.S. citizens that feel that way. But you're a foreigner. Why would we want to allow that in the United States? Someone who's in favor of murder. We don't want pro-murder people in the United States of America. Well, I mean, the Democrats do. They allow thousands of them, if not millions of them, into the country. The reason I say thousands, we've known, that there's 10,000 plus people that had done some sort of violent crime, of which the country they fled from, but they still allowed them into the country. No big deal. Not to mention, you have terrorists in this country. In some cases, you have known terrorists in this country. That was revealed by, again, codenamed Superbad, Sarah Adams. She has revealed that some of these people were a part of Benghazi, and they are still allowed to be here and thrive in the United States. It's pretty crazy what we have going on. I highly recommend you check out Sarah Adams' X page for updates on what's going on around the world, especially with terrorism, because she's expecting something to happen very, very soon. We have calls for Pam Bondi's resignation after AG bundles hate speech message. So I still have not seen her do anything. Has anybody else? I mean, we're going on 8 months now, and I haven't seen any kind of major arrests from this woman. I haven't really seen her do. I've seen the FBI do a bunch of stuff. I haven't seen her really do anything. Attorney General Pam Bondi received swift backlash from conservatives after she threatened to prosecute Americans for using hate speech. This is kind of what I was telling you guys before of, oh, well, we'll see here when you get here, you might get bitten in the neck, or you might feel it in the neck or something, or you might feel it in the head. Well, you just said feel it in the head. You're not actually calling for somebody's death explicitly, but that's what is being implied. The Attorney General endorsed hate speech prosecutions during an appearance on Katie Miller podcast, which is hosted by the wife of White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller. Bondi said that targeting purveyors of hate speech has become more important in the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination. There's free speech and then there's hate speech, and there's no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie in our society. Bondi, in a clip of the show released on Monday, we will absolutely target you, go after you if you are targeting anyone with hate speech. The problem is that you want to be very careful when you're using that language, because what is classified as hate speech? Joe Biden was going after all of us. Remember, I always say this because a lot of people were not covering this. Joe Biden's DHS advisory board labeled all of you in the chat, because we're predominantly Trump supporters. A lot of us are independents. Actually, most of my audience are independents. If you were a religious person, a MAGA supporter, or get this, meaning you only have to be one of the three, or a military personnel or prior, it doesn't matter, you were deemed a terror risk in your own country by Joe Biden's DHS advisory board. So based on that, anything you say would be hate speech practically on social media. If they said anything that they deemed that you didn't like, which we saw, you were silenced. Not thrown in jail necessarily. Some people were being tried to thrown in jail. But Charlie Kirk, Jordan B. Peterson, and the editor-in-chief of the Federalist were all banned off social media for legitimately saying a man is a man and a woman is a woman. That's crazy. But that's where we're at now. So that could be deemed hate speech, meaning something that's an objective truth, where you're looking at an individual and their pee-pee swaying back and forth because they're running around Hollywood Boulevard in LA naked. You go, that's a man. That's hate speech because maybe the person identifies as a woman. That's a slippery slope, and that is some scary stuff. I hate to say it, but I do not want the government saying what's hate speech or not, because that can be turned around and used against us very quickly with, say, Gavin Newsom in office or some other psycho. Can you imagine giving Adam Schiff the power to select what you say as being hate speech or not? Adam Schiff, you're going to trust that guy to wield that kind of power? I don't think so. There's free speech and then there's hate speech, and there's no place, especially now. Okay. Conservatives bashed the attorney general over her tacit endorsement of the term hate speech as amorphous category of language better determined by how it is received than by what is said. Get rid of her today. This is insane, Daily Wire host Matt Walsh said in a post on X. Walsh was responding to an interview Bondi did with Fox News, Sean Hannity, on Monday. During the interview, Bondi revealed that the Justice Department is considering charging Office Depot after an employee allegedly refused a request to print flyers with Kirk's face on them. The employee who didn't print the flyer was already fired by his employer. This stuff is being handled successfully through free speech and free markets. This is totally gratuitous and pointless. We need the AG focused on bringing down the left-wing terror cells, not prosecuting Office Depot, for God's sake. And I think Walsh is right here. You're kind of putting your focus. I'm not saying you can't be multi-focused, but you're kind of putting your focus on Office Depot when they already handled the situation themselves. There's no need to kind of keep kicking somebody when they're already down. Office Depot is going to feel the pain because people aren't going to go buy their products anymore, a good swath or good large portion of the country. So not only were they already beat up for it on social media, but then they're also going to be beat up for it on their revenue side. And then this person lost their job. So the market's going to handle that, which is how it's supposed to be. When a baker doesn't want to bake a cake for a lesbian couple, then, they have to deal with the market reaction to something like that. And I'm not saying they should give up their religious rights to do and be forced to bake a cake. I don't think that should happen. But if you're not going to bake a cake for somebody else, well, then that market's going to react in some way, shape, or form. It would be like a company not hiring black people. That's a very evil and wrong thing to do. And what would happen is the market would react, meaning nobody's going to go buy their products because it's a messed up thing to do. I wouldn't buy anything from them. If they're going to outright just not hire black people based on the color of their skin, that's insane. Meaning I would boycott that company, as should a lot of other people, and then we'll go purchase from somebody else that wants to actually not be racist. That's nice. So it's a very slippery slope. And like I said, we're in a very tough spot as a country right now. And I don't know how you fix it other than trying to change the culture. I really, really don't. Let's see if we can get to other breaking news here really quickly. So this came out where mom of Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin describes radical shift in last year. I don't think this happened over a year. What you have found with parents is they are egregiously uninformed of what the hell's going on in their kids' lives because they are not raising their kids. Allegedly, Tyler Robinson's parents were MAGA supporters. He grew up in a Republican household, allegedly. That's what we're being told as of right now. Things could change. I've said this relentlessly, and I know we have a lot of new viewers. You are not raising your kids. Social media is raising your kids. Look at the screen time on your kid's cell phone. I always do this every single year. Since I teach statistics and AP statistics, I have kids look at their screen time, and I look at the average screen time every year, and it's always gone up. I've had kids that have legitimately, I'm not exaggerating this, it's going to sound made up, but I verified it with my own eyes, 17 hours of screen time. That's insane. They're getting hundreds of messages a day. So I implore you to go look at the research and the data on what the average text message count is for a teen American today, and you're going to fall over in your chair. Well, Tyler Robinson's mother told investigators she had watched her son change dramatically in the year leading up to the Utah college shooting of Turning Point USA. Once a college scholarship recipient with a promising future, Robinson had become more political, left-leaning, and supporting pro-gay and trans rights, his mother said, according to the court documents. She also recounted heated arguments between Robinson and his father, who held sharply different views and regularly sparred over their competing ideologies. I mean, that's just sad right there. Not that you couldn't, not that you have to have the exact ideology of your parents, but that should have been a major red flag for the family right there, because families tend to be pretty in line with one another. So to a Christian, it shouldn't mean much. Kash Patel participates in Norse paganism. Bing bong. Yeah, you're just kind of annoying. Yeah. She also recounted heated argument. You said you just say a bunch of random things in the chat, but nobody knows what you're saying. You're just saying a bunch of random things. Like, it doesn't make any sense. We'll give him a chance, but the guy's weird. She also recounted heated arguments between Robinson and his father, who held sharply different views and regularly sparred over the competing ideologies. At one point, she told police her son dismissed Kirk's Utah Valley University event as a stupid venue and claimed Kirk spreads too much hate. Now, that's not the reason to kill somebody, but, according to them, it is. Prosecutors now argue that political hatred was the core of Robinson's alleged allegations. In court filings, they allege he intentionally targeted Kirk because of his political expression. So this is what happens when you spend too much time on the computer and you're a Reddit kid and an iPad kid and you have your head so far up your ass it's head spinning. But that's how people are. So we have that for all of you guys. We'll keep you updated. There's going to be more information that's going to come out. They're going probably through that guy's computer. They're going to go through his text messages. And I guess allegedly from what Kash Patel said is that there is whole there could be a terror network taking place here, because a lot of people were posting days before Charlie Kirk ever got assassinated that, September 10th is going to be an interesting day. And then posted multiple times about September 10th being there as well. So it's just a little bit odd that these people knew something major was going to happen. And it wasn't just 1, 2, or 3. It was a bunch of people. And so it makes you wonder in these networks how bad things truly are on social media. And sometimes it's not even to the point where you're going to see it out there in the open. They're talking on Discord, on Reddit, and doing these nefarious conversations, these nefarious things. So appreciate you, Jeff. Thank you for taking care of that. Thank you for all the moderators always taking care of things in the chat. It's always greatly appreciated. Well, with that being said, folks, I think we're going to cut it there. I have to go to work a little bit early today for a meeting, meaning I got to put on that suit really quick. But thank you for joining us. If you're new here, let us know in the chat. We have a lot of people watching today's episode of The Bald Brad Show. We do this each and every morning, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And, we would love for you to join us each and every morning. If you haven't already, make sure you check out my book, Trojan Horse, How the Left is Destroying America. We got 5 stars on Amazon. It is a great book. It's a timely book. But you can pick it up here. You can get it on Kindle, hardcover, paperback might be on sale. It is on sale, 26% off. You can get it for $13 right now. And like I said, it's 4.7 stars. That 1 star right there was a leftist commenting that it's written by a Nazi and, that typical charade. Oh, he's something this. It's probably because I went after Antifa and Black Lives Matter in the book and kind of destroyed the Democrats' argument. Let me tell you this. If you love somebody destroying the Democrat Party's arguments, you're going to love this book. I went so hard in the paint on this book, and this is a true story. I very rarely have ever talked about this. The publisher is through Salem Media. If anybody knows Salem Media, they're broadcasting everywhere. Well, the publisher actually said we need to tone it down a little bit because it is like relentlessly just destroying their arguments time and time again. So we need to kind of bring it down a notch to kind of give the reader time to breathe. So if you read the book, it's actually the real edition is a lot more harsh and nothing violent or anything like that. It was just like page after page after page after page after page was just destroying them. So their arguments to be specific. So pick yourself up a copy. It's a great gift idea for a friend or family member. I mean, Christmas is coming up. So is Halloween. I mean, any birthdays, coaster. It can be used for a coaster. With that being said, folks, God bless all of you. Thank you for joining me today. We'll be back here tomorrow, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for another episode of The Bald Brad Show. Hit that like and subscribe button. Follow us on Rumble. Follow us on X. Follow us on TikTok. We're everywhere. And I'll see you later here on The Bald Brad Show. Take care, Patriots.